Takiapi. Hello, everyone. Long time ago, when I was about, how old was I? 15 years old. It was 1977, August. And a couple of months later, I would turn 16. But at this time, I was 15. And I had some concert tickets to go to my first rock concert in my life. And it was to Kiss. They were going to be in Rapid City and playing live at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center. And at that time, it was a brand new stadium. Yeah, it was just finished that summer. A few weeks earlier, Elvis was the first performer to play in that stadium. But I was a bigger Kiss fan, so I saved my money for the Kiss concert. And back then, boy, think about that. 1977. The Kiss concert tickets were $8. Can you believe that? For you young people of today. $8 to see the hottest band in the world. So cool. And it was my first concert, and I was going there with my friend Leo and my cousin Curtis, who is more like a big brother to me. Leo was the same age as me. We were both 15 years old, and Curtis was 17, 17 years old. At that time, Curtis was a big guy. Yeah, he was kind of a cowboy. He had a cowboy hat and cowboy boots and cowboy belt with a big buckle and cowboy shirt, and he didn't look like your typical Kiss fan, yeah. And boy, that was wild, yeah. We got to the concert hall, and my mother took us, and she dropped us off there, and she said she would go back to the hotel room and she would come back and try to park at a certain place. You know, the parking lot wasn't even finished yet. Just the stadium was finished. But the parking lot, not all of it was paved. It was still gravel there. But she said she would try to park near some building near there so that when it was over, we should look in that area. And she would be standing there someplace. So we said, okay. So my idea was, okay, the concert starts at 8 o'clock. So I thought, we better be there at 6. Because, see, back then, I used to read these magazines called Circus, Cream, and I think that, was there another one? I can't remember. But it was mainly those two magazines. Hit Parader. I used to read those three magazines a lot, rock and roll magazines. And when you read what's in there, you learn that to get to the concert, you should get there several hours before the gates open because it's going to be a madhouse. And my cousin didn't think it would be that way. But when when we got dumped off at the Civic Center, you could see all these guys dressed like Kiss, and my mom thought that they were Kiss. And I said, "Oh, look, there they are," she would say. And I was like, "No, that's not them. They're taller than that." I didn't even see them in person, but I knew they're over 6 feet tall. And with high heels, they're even taller than that. And the guys we saw were really short guys, yeah. So I knew that wasn't them. But you saw it all over the stadium, yeah, on the outside, all these guys dressed up like Kiss, and it was so cool. And then you had all these Bible people standing there and giving out these little New Testaments. And their signs they were holding up, they were saying that the letters in KISS stand for Knights in Satan's Service. They were telling us not to go in there because that's the devil in there and all that kind of thing. And it was so wild because there's a lot of, really partying people all over the place, and there was these big guys, and I saw this, this one guy picked up a trash can and he dumped the trash all over these Bible beaters, and then he put the trash can over one of those guys. Then he pushed it over and everybody was cheering, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. That's rock and roll. Oh my goodness. So we went into the Civic Center, and man, the lobby was just jam packed. And oh man, there's beer bottles, Jack Daniels bottles, and marijuana smoke in the. This is just in the lobby. We're not even inside yet. And where the gates where they had this security thing that you see in front of a lot of stores inside shopping malls, that goes over the windows when they close up and so forth, and that's what was covered in that area where the gates were. So they were waiting, and then I think it was about 7 o'clock where they opened it up, but they were just in certain places that you could go in. And oh man, people were just rushing. Yeah, they were just rushing from all directions. And, and 15 years old, I'm just a small guy. Yeah? And then I was just going this way and that way. And because sometimes you see the people beside you, they're all going in fast. It's like in the water, you have these different currents going in opposite directions. That's what it was like. All of a sudden, you see this rush of people all going fast forward that are beside you. Then they get pushed back and they all come back. Then where we are, we're rushing forward next. And it goes back and forth like that. Boy, we weren't getting anywhere. And so Curtis said, I have to censor this video, yeah? When I say heck, I don't mean heck, okay? Substitute heck with the F word, okay? So he said, heck with this. He said, you guys grab onto my belt. He said, so Leo and I, we grabbed onto his belt, and then he just, because he's so big, yeah? Curtis was big, tall. So he just, he just manhandled everybody in front of him and just pushed him aside. It's like it's like I don't know what it was like. Yeah, like a bull going through a crowd of people. You see all these people going by the side. Gee, not that bad. And so there were other people they saw this, so they got behind us. Yeah. So Curtis led the charge. Yeah. Right to the gate. So we got in just quick. And then there's a long line of police there searching you and make sure you don't have any weapons or anything like that. And so, that was something. That was almost as cool as the concert itself, yeah? Oh man, that's such a nice memory. I really like to think about that. So when I hear Kiss songs, I always remember that, yeah? Especially the older Kiss songs from the Love Gun record. This tour was the Love Gun tour. This was when they were at their peak of their career, yeah? This was when they were really, they were the number one band in the world, yeah? The number one rock band in the world. And they were all over the world, and it was so cool. Rapid City was not part of their original tour, but they had some extra time, and they thought, hey, let's go over to South Dakota. So instead of Sioux Falls, they came to Rapid City because Rapid City had this new stadium, this new civic center, and it held more people than the stadium in Sioux Falls, which is on the east side of the state, the southeast corner of the state, which is the biggest city in South Dakota. Rapid City being the second biggest city. And Rapid City is on the far west, southwest corner of the state. So they booked their concert in Rapid City. And I'm so thankful for that, because Rapid City was just a 2 hour drive from where we live. So we got into the concert and found a good place to sit. And I said to Curtis, it's probably not a good idea to get on the floor because it's going to be wild. And there's a lot of tall people here. So we got some really good seats though, yeah. We got some really cool seats and then the lights went down and the crowd went crazy. Just nuts. I never heard a crowd. Well, I shouldn't say I never heard a crowd like that before because this was my first concert. But it was wild. Yeah, just wow. And then this band started playing, and then I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like any Kiss song I know. Because I was a Kiss expert back then. Yeah, I knew all their songs. I could play all their songs on guitar and all that stuff. Could even play Beth on piano. Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute, this is not Kiss. And then the lights came on and you saw this band playing. It's like, wait a minute, who are these goofy looking guys? And it's like, huh. And people at first they started to boo, yeah? Boo, boo. The people were booing them and throwing cups of, I don't know what's inside those cups, but they were throwing them at the stage. But this band kept playing. And then after about the second song, people were like, hey, wait a minute, they're not bad. Yeah, it's just that, see, when we got our concert tickets, it just said Kiss. And when you saw the posters in the building, it just said Kiss. It did not announce any opening act at all. So people thought it was just going to be Kiss there. So when they saw this band, a lot of people were disappointed. They're like, oh shit, maybe they didn't come. And instead this other band's playing. So people were like, oh man. But like I said, the band was good. They sounded really good. And by the third song, people were going nuts. People got into it. Yeah, there was a song they played. How did it go? Something like, I want you to want me. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. It was Cheap Trick. And it was like, these guys, they're not that bad. They're pretty good. And in South Dakota, you didn't hear their music on the radio, but in the big cities, I think you did. Yeah, like in Los Angeles and so forth. They didn't really have any big hits yet. This I Want You to Want Me was just released, and it wasn't a huge hit that it had become. But people liked it, and they have good songs, really good rocking songs. And so I think they played for about 45 minutes, and it was good, yeah? It was really good. When they got done, the crowd was really going, yeah? It was really going. And then the lights came up again, the big stadium lights came up, and people were like in a good mood, yeah? Just clouds of marijuana smoke going all over, and people were throwing these big balloons all over the place, and then a couple of fights here and there, even girls fighting each other. And I was like, wow, this is so cool, yeah? Rock and roll. And then I know about these concerts because I read about them in these magazines that I told you about. So I have a good idea of what's going to happen. And that's why I wanted to sit at a certain location where we are kind of like almost eye to eye with the band, yeah? And I wore this really fluorescent yellow windbreaker. So I knew that if we could be in the area where the concert lights are, that maybe if I stand up and throw my fist up every now and then, that maybe they'll see me. That was my plan. And so Kiss came out and I was like, oh my God, it was just, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, this was so better than I could ever imagine. Yeah. And I remember that before they came out, before the concert started, we were sitting at a place where we could kind of see what was behind the stage, yeah, because they have a long black curtain in the back, and then the big kiss letters are there, and they have these lighted stairs with these yellow lights on the steps, and the drum riser and stuff like that, and the amplifiers, and but you could kind of see the door to the dressing room in the back. And so you saw them coming out, yeah. I think the first one coming out was Peter Chris, the drummer. And the people on our side of the stadium that we could see this, and oh, it just got wow, yeah. People were hollering and screaming, and here come Ace Frehley, and it was like, whoa! I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it! I can't believe it! I can't believe this is happening. Then to see Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons come out, and it's, you know, you see those old movies of all them girls screaming like crazy when the Beatles come on stage. That was me. Screaming around and throwing my hands in the air and Paul, Gene. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. And then the lights went down, yeah, just complete black. And then you hear this voice, Rapid City, are you ready? And the crowd is going nuts and wild. And you wanted the best. You got the best. The hottest band in the world. Kiss! And then, holy man, it's just like the whole stadium was a rocket that just blasted off. Yeah. Jesus, jeez, I don't know what to say. It's undescribable. Yeah, this feeling, and oh, it was just nuts, and I just couldn't take my eyes off the stage. Yeah, I didn't want to miss 1 second of this concert. And there were times where the spotlight would kind of show in our area and where we were sitting, and then there was this one part where Gene Simmons, he looked to the area where we were sitting, and I shot my right hand up in the air. And then he looked and he pointed at me, and he really shook his head, and he did one too. And I thought, wow, I made contact with Gene Simmons. Maybe there was somebody else too, but I interpreted it as that was for me. Yeah. So that was the highlight, yeah, highlight of the concert for me. And but oh my gosh, that was such a cool concert, and so yeah, the concert, it went over 2 hours. Yeah, they really went a long time. It was so cool, and they played what they played 4 encores. It was just amazing. And when they went into rock and roll all night, oh my God, that was so, whew. Yeah, I was just like, man, it was like I went through a workout. Yeah. And Leo, my friend, he didn't know about encores. Yeah. So, he was sitting by the aisle. Yeah. So, by the steps. So when they say, good night, Rapid City, Leo got up and took off. I tried to stop him. Hey, don't go. They're not done. They're not done yet. But he didn't hear me because it was so loud. And so he ran out. And we didn't see him for the rest of the concert. Yeah, he was outside waiting for us. He missed the encores. Oh man, I should have told him. Curtis didn't know either, but I grabbed him fast enough, yeah. I said, no, don't go. I said, they're not done yet. And so we wanted to watch the encore, so we saw that, and then, oh my God, it was so cool, yeah. Then when we were leaving the stadium, we were still inside, but we were going down the steps to the exit. there's, there's this guy that was passed out. They laid him on the steps and they put a flower in his hand like he's dead. Jeez, there was a lot of wild things happening there. then we went outside and we found Leo, and, and then we were able to. Luckily, we were able to find where my mother was parked, and so we got back, and oh, I couldn't even sleep that night. Yeah, it was just I was too excited about the whole thing, and that was my first concert. Yeah, it's a good memory for me, and as I'm telling you the story, it is the 6th of February, 2023. And my cousin Curtis passed on. Wow. I think he passed on about 8 years ago, I think. And my friend Leo, he passed on about a year after that. So neither one of these guys is alive today. And so I'm telling you this story as a way to remember them, yeah, and honor both of them. Yeah, like I said, Curtis was like a big brother to me, and I'm very thankful for that. And it was a good time. Yeah, I'm really happy that we had this experience. I just wanted to share that with you. And maybe you have experiences like this in your life too. If you would like to, write in the comments, tell me your stories and share them if you would like to. And just remember the good times, yeah? Think of good times with your friends, especially the ones who aren't here anymore for whatever reason. It's good medicine, yeah? It's good medicine to remember those things because it affects them too. If they're not here anymore, it's nice to talk about things like this because they feel it when you do. Think about that, okay? So, especially when you're at peace with your past and you can talk about things like this, it's a way of remembering, it's a way of spreading medicine, not only to people around you, but to the unseen as well. And that's good. We have a connection. Yeah. Like I said in many videos, we are connected to everything, everything around us and everything inside of us. And remember, when I say everything inside of us, that means our soul. And when I say everything around us, it means the spiritual element as well. So that's why sometimes it's good to sit back and reminisce about things like this. And even if you had a difficulty in the past that today you're at peace with it, sometimes it's good to look back at that and think, wow, I went through that. And I came out and I'm still here in a good way. Yeah? Sometimes it's good to take time to do things like that. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this video. I really, really appreciate it. And if you would like to send a special thanks in support of this channel, look at the bottom of this video where the title is, and right under that, where it says like, dislike, and share, right in that area, slide it towards the left, and you will see the symbols change, and then you will see a heart-shaped button that says thanks on it. If you would like to click on there to send your thanks of support, I would really appreciate it, as I really do enjoy making these videos and speaking with you and spending some time with you. So again, thank you very much for listening. To learn more about Lakota spirituality, I have written a book called Wichocha Otechike. This book also includes Lakota Star Knowledge information. All the videos that I make, which are about Lakota spirituality, Lakota Star Knowledge, and cultural information, are based on this book. This book costs 99 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost as well as a tracking number. And to learn more about Lakota language, I have written a Lakota language book called Chante Etanha Owoglake, Speaking from the Heart. And all my Lakota language videos are based on this book. This book costs 119 American dollars. This price includes the shipping cost as well as a tracking number. I also teach online and I give spiritual consultations as well. If you are interested in any of my services and products, you can send payment via PayPal to my email address, which is hehaka7@yahoo.com. That's HEHAKA, the number 7@yahoo.com. When you send your payment, please include your shipping address and your email address. Ho, lila pilamayelo. Thank you very much. In the Lakota way, everything is circular. As a result, we do not have a word for goodbye in the Lakota language. And so instead we say until next time, which in Lakota is Doksha Ake. And I will catch you in the next video.